Okay, tonight I'm going to get back to Flappy Phoenix. And let's see. Last time I had a whole bunch of images that were way too large. So let me pull up my main screen here, my main viewer. So here's what we have. So there are all these keyframes, and I've reversed them and reduced them down to just 40 by 43 pixels, although you won't be able to see the uh, the difference because there's some empty space at the top and the bottom. So we should be able to put these into the app and make things look a little bit nicer. I'm also going to animate them, and if there's time, I'll also throw in live view today. So let's get to it. Here is what we had last time. So I've basically I'm just outputting this here for my own benefit, but basically the app is getting an X and Y location of this Flappy Phoenix on a grid and putting it on the screen based on that. And nothing's animated. You can see I've resized the image there. So let's go to the only controller, should be the page controller. And yeah, so I'm just hard coding a bird x2 y 9.7. I should be able to just change this to say 13.7, and we'll see the bird hops up a little bit if I've got the server running. Hops down a bit because y the y-axis starts at the top of the screen and goes down. So we'll just make this 7.5. So here's what we have now. What I want to do is make it animate. So the easiest way to do that is probably with CSS. And I like to just get everything working separately to figure out what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'll just make an empty HTML page in the assets directory with all the images. So there we go. There's assets. I don't need the depths open. So we have static images, and then in flapping, I have all these different versions. Actually, let's just rename this one to just 0 for consistency. So we'll make a new test.html here. And we're going to have some HTML file, and I'll probably just do the style inline like so. And let me check the syntax on animating. So animate several images, CSS, keyframe. Actually, I don't want a whole tutorial though. That's probably animate several images. Maybe just animate CSS, animate several images. And yeah, that looks like basically what I want. So we have 0 to 100%. I have 9 images, so I think I'm actually going to go to 99%, maybe. Should we just delete all these? And we have some WebKit specific stuff that I don't need. So we'll just do that. And why do we have duplicates? That doesn't make sense. Oh, because it has WebKit. So I'll just delete the extra lines. Okay. Does that look right? Looks basically right. And we'll put this on one line so it's easier for me to copy and paste it. So the URL for the first one is going to be 0.png. And let's see, this is just putting it in a div. Well, we'll just make that .test. I'll make a div down here. Div.test. And we'll need to open this page. So I should be able to just I'll just open it in the Finder and then open it in HTML. Okay, so it looks like I have my div, I have the Flappy Bird. Is there anything else? Actually, don't need a float there. Probably not going to need most of this here, but I'll just leave that. So, and it's blown up and ugly. The original version obviously would look much better if it were this size. Like here's the Phoenix flapping 0, but that's fine because we're going to shrink it down and it's going to go into here. So let's see. To animate this, we'll just make keyframes for each of these. We have 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll make it, we'll just divide 100 by 9. So we'll have 11 here. 11% will be the 1 URL. And should see some, yeah, that's really slow. Like this 1 second flapping. Okay. And now we'll get more of them. Actually, how many more? I guess 8 more. We want 2 through 9. So do that, and we'll just change 1s to 2s. Is that right? Yeah, global. And do the same thing. And repeat. There should be a way to automate this. This is still a little bit tedious. 4s and 5s. And replace 1s with 6s. 1s with 7s. And 1s with 8s. And 1s with 9s. Okay. So now we have all of our PNGs. Refresh it. Okay, yeah. So that's basically flapping. And now we've got the bird flapping. I guess the next thing to do is just put this into here. So let's see what CSS I'm using for the other one right now. Got page. Probably in the app CSS. The bird is position absolute, width 40, height 40, background image. Okay, so we're just going to replace that with the CSS that we have in here. So let's grab these WebKit, these keyframes, not WebKit, just keyframes. Yeah, so we'll copy all of those. Actually, we're going to need all of this to our to our CSS, which is here. So this one, let's see, the keyframes we can just leave as are. So we'll just call these flapping, I guess. Yeah. Flapping, and then that'll be on, let's see, on the bird, we'll have background size contain. We can probably do that. I'll probably just copy these 4. And we don't need that anymore. So now let's see if we have, looks like we don't have it animating. background image. What if we turn off the background image? Well, that just deletes the bird. So why are we not getting the animation? Animation timing function ease. 1 second infinite. Looks like that should be working. Keyframes, flap bird animation. I'll just call this flapping. Is that what I called it up here? Ah, that's probably what it is. I renamed the keyframes. And now the bird has disappeared, which is some kind of progress, I guess. No errors there. Oh, it's because the location of the images. So instead of, right. So instead of just 7.png, it's got to be images / flapping / whatever.png. So we'll do that and leave the background image as a fallback, and then we should get it. All right. The Flappy bird, or the Flappy Phoenix is actually flapping now. It's living up to its name. I wasn't even going to use SCSS for this project. So for now, I won't worry about that though. All right. All right. So we've migrated everything over to this live view. As bad as that was, I think, yeah, making the animation took 5 minutes. Doing the rest took more like 35 minutes. But we have the animated Phoenix here, and it should be possible to control it just by injecting the X and the Y values we want. I think we're good with just these two. So we'll add a handle event for the key. Assign a message of a key. Oh, you know what? I wasn't. Sorry about that. Here's the Flappy Phoenix, and here's the code I was looking at, and here is the other code I was looking at. All right, so I'm just looking at how to recognize the key events right now, because I haven't done this well in several months, and I'm just reviewing what I did in a previous app, which is actually live right now, and I can show it to you. This is for my podcast, but there was just this throwaway page I made where whatever key I press, you'll see shown on the screen, even if it's like a control or an alt or whatever. So I want to do the same. Basically, I want to capture key events just so I can get the space bar. That's really the main thing. So we'll see if I can copy both of these into my main page live. And of course, I'm going to clean this up for the book, but just for me, while I'm figuring out what's going on, it's faster if I just, throw whatever in here. So I've made a key event, handle food key, key stuff, socket. So it seems I should need to define that event somewhere. Isn't that the case? So I should probably start the server as well. Yeah, there's no listener there. This okay, yeah. So here there's a listener and that's sending a message. So we'll do the same thing here. And stuff may have changed. Like I may have to do more than this. Don't need that one open. Let's see, bird position, go to the live view. So page live. There we are. And the HTML. And that's an error. What's going on? Message not available in EEX template. Yeah, that's reasonable. Message none. Okay. Let's just put that into the mount. And I think I'm just going to put these on separate lines so it's a little bit easier to work with. Okay, and yay. All right, we're capturing events. So if the message is a space, then we want to, for now, I'll just make the bird teleport up by one slot. It's we're gonna have to give the bird a velocity, like or we'll have to give it an acceleration. So it should always be accelerating downward. Like we want the bird to just be dropping at like an accelerating rate until it flaps. So it might be going up a little bit, but its acceleration's negative until it flaps, and then it uh, it gets like an instant increase in vertical velocity. Although it keeps gravity stays the same, so it keeps on accelerating downward. For now, though, we'll just have it teleport. So the handle event for key space. Let me just hit space. Okay, so handle event foo key. Instead of calling this foo key, let's call it rest key. Key equals that, or game key. Change the name in here. Okay, so if the game key is not, or if it's, we'll just put another handler up here specifically for if the game key is a space. Let's see. Key does not exist, is being expanded to key, please. Is it page live 42? Okay, so we're capturing flaps as being different from other keys. All right. So we'll get the bird out of the socket and add one to its X. Sign socket. Let me just see if we've got, if we can see the socket dot bird. Bird is not there. Socket dot sign dot bird, I think. Let's see. Signs, yeah, okay. Socket dot assigns dot bird. Yep. Okay, so what we'll do next is we'll just make it so that the socket gets updated with a new bird. So old bird equals socket dot assigns dot bird, and we're going to assign message space, and let's see, new bird. We'll put a mosquito in here. All right. The new bird is going to be socket old bird. It's going to be the old bird. Y equals old bird dot y plus 1 minus 1 minus 1 because positive is down. What did I get wrong here? 43, 48, old bird minus 1. Y doesn't seem to be assigning it because I'm not assigning it. All right. Well, that's a bit of a problem actually. If we're on a high screen, it'll scroll it up, which I don't really want. So let's make the world a bit shorter. 720. Okay. So the next thing to do is set some kind of timer so that every second, or maybe even faster than that, just set some kind of timer so that the bird's acceleration is continually, or it's continually falling. Um, trying to think. Might be better if it's just negative velocity, though. I haven't really played the real Flappy Bird. So let's try. Let's see. We'll make the bird a little bit more complex. So the bird is going to have X, a Y. It'll have a Y velocity, which will be 1. And we'll need a timer. Should be able to do like a send after a certain number of milliseconds, and then there's um, the send after will just continually be receiving. We'll have a send after event. We'll call it like a tick or something. So in the mount, we'll send an event some number of milliseconds after itself, and that event will be a tick event, and then the tick event will send another tick event after itself continually until the game is over. Well, that'll be the end of it. Let me just see in a Phoenix LiveView send after. Should be some example of one sending to itself. Wow, this looks like someone else was thinking exactly what I'm talking about. Send after, and they're even calling it tick. Oh, and it was the person that made LiveView. Excellent. Process send after self. Tick 1000. I'm probably going to do it more often than that. And handle event. Handle info. Tick. Send after. Yep. That was in the mount. And let's put that into a variable. Tick length or tick interval. I'd say 200, although I don't think that's enough. And make a handle info. Socket. Send the next tick. And the tick is going to, well, for now, the tick will just decrement the Phoenix by its velocity. So it'll just add its velocity to its location. So we'll say bird equals socket dot assigns. Should just pattern match this out. And let's do that above also. So in here, instead of just socket, I'm going to say socket equals bird. Bird, oops, got a doubled up S there. And now we don't have to do that. And the bird is going to be whatever the bird was, except y is now going to be bird.y plus bird.dy. And then we'll have to send a reply. No reply. And assign socket bird. And what's wrong? No function clause matching handle info. Tick. Seems like that should be okay. Info. Need to have the assigns there, I guess. Oh yes, look at that. The bird is just falling out of the sky. This is great. Okay, and that's really choppy because it's such a coarse interval. So what we're gonna do is instead of every, where did I put that? Interval is 200. So that's milliseconds, and a person sees about 60 frames a second. So that's like 1,000/6 or over 60. So 1,000/6 would be like 166. So we'll make this 16.67. And now it should be smooth, but way too fast. Oh, we can't do that? Send after has to be in milliseconds. Okay. With an integer value. Okay. And instead of having it go that fast, we'll just make each of the ticks move it a little bit. So there is our handle event. I need more screen real estate. This is the problem of having a large font so everyone can read it. Oh, here we go. So here's our tick. So we'll make the increment like 1/10 of the dy, or maybe a 15th, we'll say. Okay, it's kind of reasonable. We really need 60 FPS? Maybe not. Maybe we'll just do 30 FPS. Double this to 34 and make that 7 instead. Okay, and now every time someone presses space bar, the bird will, actually the bird already teleports up, doesn't it? Okay, first of all, let's only do this if this is where this is the main game loop. This is where lots of logic's going to be happening. For right now, though, I just want to stop it once the bird's off the end of the screen, so it doesn't churn my processor while streaming. So we'll say if bird dot y is less than 700/40. So if it's less than 20, give it a little bit of extra time. So if bird y is less than if it's greater than or equal to 20, then we'll do this. Otherwise, we won't. So it'll be the last tick once the bird falls too far. If it's less than. Okay, so now it's falling, and it's dead. Okay. Won't worry about that for now. If we get flap event, then we assign space new bird. So why is the flap event not working? Scrolls off. Seems like the event's not getting recognized at all. Let's try getting rid of this, the send after, so the initial, we just won't start the timer. Something is broken in the space. E equals space. This is not matching for some reason. Because it's got to be assigns, just like the other one. It's kind of a worse space. Well, yeah, I think I'm just not even going to match all of that inside the socket. I'll just go back to the other way. There does have to be a bird there, but it's not necessary to pattern match it out of there. I'd rather it be easy to read. So bird equals socket assigns bird. Okay, so it's falling, but you can teleport it upwards. I think it's going to be better with acceleration, but just to make sure, let's try reducing how far it falls by a bit more, or the speed of it. Yeah, we'll use acceleration. So acceleration will be ddy, and well, that one. Tick. This update. This update will update the acceleration and the velocity. So y is going to be whatever y was plus the old acceleration over 9, and or plus the old velocity over 9, and now the velocity is going to equal whatever the velocity was plus the acceleration. And this is probably going to be way too fast. Yeah. Even that's kind of fast. Okay, so let's change the number in here instead. So the acceleration is going to be 0.1. And we can do the same thing with velocity. Or maybe, actually, maybe we can't. Let's try that again. These ticks are so often, the acceleration is just, it's going to add up way too fast. Seems kind of reasonable. Let's see. Oh, the problem is the reason why no matter how much I'm tweaking it, it seems pretty messed up is because the flap is not changing the velocity right now. It's just changing just changing the position, and we're maintaining all that downward velocity. So we'll change that to dy. Yeah, now it just shoots off the screen, of course. Okay, let's see here. I think it's reasonable for this to be an increment of 1. So let's just divide how much we make the velocity affect the position in any frame. It looks like that's about right. This is feeling like maybe it could be playable. I just changed my mind though. Instead of doing it there, I'm gonna change the number in here. Bird dy minus equals 0.1. I think it's a little bit too much gravity, so we'll decrease that even a little bit more. 0.005. Okay. Whoa, that's okay. This doesn't handle very easily, but maybe that's good. Okay, so I think yeah, this particular game feels like it's going to be more dangerous, just because the flaps are too powerful. Like if you get a few lined up in a row, it can send you off the top. I'm okay with that though. So I think we'll call that a win, and maybe just stop for here. What's left for the game? So the game is, um, well, we'll have an obstacle, and the obstacle is going to have a gap at some spot. So the obstacle will be kind of like on the screen. I guess you can't really see if I do that. Um, it's going to be like this, and it's just going to be moving horizontally. So the obstacle is going to be just this constant negative x velocity, and there's going to be one obstacle at a time. So like we'll just have a single obstacle in the game that's moving that way, and um, as it approaches the left side, gets close to the left side, the bird will have to find the gap in it, and then the obstacle will go off the left side and just respawn on the right side with a gap in a different spot. And after that, I think the game will be done. So hopefully just one more session and we'll have it. I'm getting a little tired because it's basically my midnight now. So gonna call it a night, but thank you for watching, and thanks for the reminder about my screen again. And I will see you next time.